Let's talk agriculture now. Agri SA wants the agriculture sector to be declared an essential service to be partially exempt from power cuts under the national state of disaster. Farmers depend on electricity for irrigation, packing, processing and cold storage. Now, Agri SA has reiterated that the ongoing power crisis is threatening food security across South Africa. For more now, I'm joined by its CEO, Christo van Rede. Christo, thank you for your time as always. This has been an ongoing conversation, especially in those really hot few weeks that we had earlier in December, and I believe down in the Cape, it's still quite hot at the moment. The impact of load shedding during a harvest period and during a time where irrigation is key. Load shedding is being felt in a really real way in the agriculture sector. You made this call just before the State of the Nation address. What kind of feedback have you had about government, about how far along this road we are to try and get the agriculture sector and all its connected industries declared essential?
The Minister of Agriculture has put together a task team, and we serve on that task team as Agri SA with other agricultural unions. And we have made it very clear that the agriculture sector should be prioritized. In fact, it should be declared an essential service. Now, the Minister has indicated to us that they are interacting with Cabinet and interacting with the Presidency, and they've interacted very extensively with Eskom, and hopefully we will see some movement in that regard. In the meantime, in our own interaction with Eskom, we have now got it right that our people at provincial level, that they are in a position to interact with Eskom at the provincial level to see if they cannot apply a more flexible approach in terms of load shedding schedules.
Now, you're talking about flexibility being key, but I'm sure you will agree that urgency is key as well. We've been reading the stories about farm working teams having to get up at midnight because that's where their window period of power is, just so they can get the irrigation in for that day. And the list goes on about how the industry has tried to be agile around this national crisis. But you and I both know that when it comes to government decisions, urgency is not always the first word that comes to mind. You are obviously hoping that all of these decisions that has already got the wheels turning just starts coming through a little bit faster.
Indeed, we will be meeting also with the Minister of Public Works, or not Public Works, Public Enterprises. This Monday, our members have shared their challenges that they're currently experiencing with us, and we've compiled a document to submit that also to Minister Pravin Gordhan's office. But what is important is that almost 90% of the agriculture sector depend on electricity. It is now harvesting season in the Western Cape. Your deciduous fruit is being exported. Your table grapes, which is highly perishable, are also being harvested, and you need a cold chain to ensure that the quality of your products, whether it's fruit or grapes, whatever, is that is not compromised. Because remember, we export to highly sophisticated international markets. Now imagine your product land in Europe or in China, and it's rotten or it's spoiled. Then you have to, as a farmer, you now need to take responsibility for destroying it. So it's cost is piling up, and on top of it, you must spend millions on power generation, on the purchasing of diesel. So this has become a very costly affair for the agriculture sector.
Yeah, it's almost been become a crisis within the crisis. I mean, you're talking about cost. I read somewhere that it's the industry lost 23 billion rand in just 9 months last year. Now, the last 3 months alone, we've had high stages of load shedding on an ongoing basis. I can't remember a day that we didn't have load shedding. Have you been able to put a cost to what the last 3 months perhaps have cost your industry members?
At this point in time, it's a very difficult exercise to conduct, because we will have to understand exactly what has happened in terms of crops that has been destroyed, especially in your irrigation areas, due to the fact that those farmers couldn't irrigate. Secondly, also livestock that has been destroyed. We know of hundreds of or thousands of chickens that have been killed. The egg industry, the milk industry, you name it all. And then the processing industry. Then on top of it, you have your additional money that you need to fork out for the purchasing of diesel, as I've said earlier, but also paying your laborers overtime. And then in addition to it, your food that gets spoiled throughout the value chain, which you have to discard of. So to do an assessment of that will take time, but obviously we will see how it impacts on the GDP figures that will come out, during the second term or third term of this year.
Now, we're talking numbers there, we're talking cost, we're talking ongoing conversations with various government industries. But at the heart of it is a community of farmers and the families that they employ who depend on this industry. Despondency must be a major issue that you're dealing with within this agricultural community as well. And I'm sure there's more and more of these people who are on the cusp of just throwing in the towel. What is the sense that you're getting in terms of the mood in the industry right now?
I think we've been quite fortunate in that we had very good rains this last couple of, during the course of this week and hopefully next week. So rain lifts the spirit because at least you can save a bit on irrigation because the rain is covering for that. But all farmers are suffering, whether you're a small-scale farmer, a medium-scale farmer. I've just got a message from a very, very big mega farmer, a sugar farmer, that told me that they are suffering as a result of load shedding. And then, the other big issue is crime. Because you don't have electricity, you cannot communicate with your neighbors when something is happening. I know of a black farmer who's lost a lot of pigs. That criminals just entered the piggery and slaughtered those pigs and carried the chunks of meat away. It's terrible what is happening. And then people are left vulnerable if your alarm systems are down, if your fencing system is down due to a lack of electricity. So yes, people are on the verge of climbing out, many farmers, I know that. But the bigger challenge, obviously, is the financial viability of the industry. And your smaller scale farmers and even bigger farmers that has invested a lot in agriculture, their backs against the wall. So I always say it's not land that produces food, it's expertise. Yeah. And you need to protect that expertise at all costs. And if we lose that expertise, doesn't matter whether they are black or white, pink or yellow, or small scale or big scale, then you lose somebody that contributes to the welfare of society, to food security in general. And that for me is critical. You cannot take any Dick, Tom and Harry, put them on a farm and expect them to farm. It's really people with a special mindset, with a special set of skills that ensures food security for this country. And that is what government need to hear, and we want government to realize the importance of food security for South Africa.
Indeed. Let's leave it on that note. That's Agri SA CEO Christo van Reede just giving us a sense of the crisis being felt across the agricultural industry right now.